and welcome back to Cozy News Corner. And this is a little bit of a larger one and smaller because this is 3 weeks. We are talking back in late May or something like that until now. And the reason why there is 3 weeks in this news roundup is because there haven't been that much news. And I don't really want to create like a 1-minute video. So it became 3 weeks. So the first news we have here is Bambu Labs keeps up locking down the community and keeps building up barriers between the community and their printers. So first off, Bambu Labs is this 3D printing company where you can buy a printer and you can print different models. And it has been using something called Orca Slicer. And then there is another version that is built upon, and then another version that is built upon. So it's pretty much standing on giants all the way down. So there have been a lot of forks of this slicer. And it has been released under the license of AGPL version 3. And what Bambu Lab has done is taking one of the versions in the middle of this chain, forked it, and made it proprietary. So they have their own slicer, which is not open source, not open core, anything. They will not contribute back to the community, and they are using a GPL licensed version, which is not okay. So they have not been providing any of the modification back to the program. And they have even threatened Pavel Jarzak, who created a fork of this to a different slicer, Orca Slicer, because he supported Bambu Labs printers. So they threatened him with a legal action, which is preposterous because they are breaking an actual software license. So being the bad guy and actually threatening legal actions against somebody that follows the license and actually uses the code correctly is just weird. And usually they are using this authorization, so you need to log into their website in order to use their printer. So they are locked out third-party tools and also progressed so you can't even use it in an offline mode. And then another developer has created this Bambu Didi or something like that, or Bambuddy, which is a self-hosted open source printer management system for Bambu Labs printers, and it's built by a developer called Martin or Mazigi. Which is really fun. This is just a totally weird way of going around things. Either you build your own slicer and make your printers totally proprietary or something like that. That's fine. Build your own systems. Do whatever you want, Bambu Labs. I don't care. But stealing code from open source repositories, which has a strict license, and then coming back and suing the community for using the code in a correct way, that's just bad behavior. So next up, we have the California bill for age verification, which has been going on for so long now. I'm pretty tired of talking about this pretty much. And it has been published back in May 18, and it will take effect in January 2027. But they have added a clause to it. So now operating system provider, which is what they are focusing this law against, does not mean a person or entity that distributes an operating system or application under a license terms that permits recipients to copy, redistribute, and modify the software. So all open source are just exempt, which is pretty nice. So now it's up to Microsoft and Apple pretty much to fix their systems, and everyone else got a free card. Next up, we have Nvidia drivers 610.43 which have now been adding Vulkan and Wayland support or improvements, and also more DRM support. And this is interesting that they have added even more support to different things, and that they are supporting Wayland better is also good, because now soon Ubuntu will force you to use Wayland in their distribution, and they will remove X altogether, which is a little bit sad because they haven't really completely supported all the features that are in the X server. So we will see what happens there, if I need to switch to another operating system later on, or if I can continue using Ubuntu. Next up, we have FlatHub that now reject all AI-assisted apps and submissions, which is a pretty huge change, because there is a lot of applications distributed on FlatHub, and that you're not allowed to push any code that has either been fully generated or have been assisted by AI in order to create the code. So PR should not be generated, opened, or automated in any way by AI tools or agents. And you should not seek AI-based reviews for a pull request if you want to have a package in FlatHub. So it's a pretty strong stance. And then GNOME Circle, behind the GNOME core utils and so on, has said also that they will follow the FlatHub. And they want also stricter policies, and they also want to make this clear for all the developers. So they have gone out and done a survey to see how many are using LLMs. 62% of the maintainers are not using it at all. 34% are using it for minor questions or code snippets, and 3% are using them for large code segments. I think that is pretty close to the majority of the world, pretty much. So 3% have been using LLMs, but you hear about it a lot because people that are into it and using it are also using it a lot. But none of the maintainers for the GNOME project have indicated that they have stopped writing codes altogether. Next up, we have AV2, the open source codec, and it's have now reached its first release. So it was announced back in September by the Alliance for Open Media, and they had a version for AV1, of course, and now in the latest AVM 1.0, they are making the first released version of AV2, which is great to have an open source version of AV2 that makes stuff much easier to encode and view and so on. So perhaps soon we will have better compression on YouTube videos, for instance, and that will be a great boon. Next up, we will have Microsoft news. So Microsoft and open source, what is happening? They have started to use Linux commands in Windows. And I think it's mainly due to this rewrite from the GNU utils, the GNU core utils. There is a package called utils, core utils, which is a modern Rust rewrite of the GNU utils. And I think that Microsoft have been just forking that one, made some changes and compiled it for Windows. So now we have core utils in Windows. So you can use the normal commands like ls, grep, cat, cp, and find directly in Windows, which is great. Next up, we have OpenCV 5.0, which is this computer vision library. It's used to find objects in an image, find text in an image, and print out what it actually says and so on. So it's a library that you can use in order to do a lot of different image vision tasks. And now they have released a new deep neural network in order to do these kind of tasks. I've trained a couple of these networks in order to do object recognition and so on. I have a lot of videos about that on the channel. So it's really nice to see that they are trying to use this kind of machine learning tasks. So not AI, it's a broad subject. Everything is machine learning. more or less. And the deep neural network is also something that is behind all of these LLMs as well. They are just using it in a different way. And still, they haven't added any native support for GPUs yet. So they're still using only CPU. You could rebuild it with some libraries in order to run it on a GPU. And they are looking for adding that feature set in the future. Next up, we have OpenOffice DocSpace 3.7. And this is their new build environment in order to work with documents and so on. They started using it back into 2023. And it's a similar thing like Google Workspace and Microsoft 365. This was the one that they stopped developing for a long while and now have taken up development. And now they have added the support to generate files via AI. So you can create documents, PDF forms, and presentations using AI. And you can use one of 7 AI providers that they have added to the platform. And next we have a new X server. And this is also the last news for today. We only have 9 for 3 weeks. So it's a bit slow news cycle. There is a new X server written totally in Rust with help of AI. So there is something called Y server, which is MIT licensed. And it's an X server written in Rust. And it's totally usable right now if you want something else than Wayland. It's vibe coded, so maybe not the best result, who knows. But the funny part is that it actually supports a lot of things. It actually has hardware directly through DRM, KMS, and Vulkan. So you can actually use a lot of different hardware platforms in order to use your peripherals and also use different display drivers. So it's a really good rewrite in that case because it's also been checked against a couple of different environments. So, for instance, I read it down here. They had support for Mate, XFCE, Cinnamon, and also they have tried FVWM3, E16, and Window Maker. So there is a support for a lot of these kind of window managers. So it could be an option. And as I said before, Ubuntu dropped X11 session back in 2510, but they haven't put it in an LTS release yet. Fedora has also done away with X11. KDE has announced that the new Plasma 6.8 will drop X11. And so there is a lot of this going away from X11 and starting to use Wayland. And not all platforms support Wayland yet, so this could be an option for them. But the maintainer says that this is a project that is very early in development. So if you don't want to try something out and expect a bunch of bugs, maybe you should not use this in production quite yet. So this was what I wanted to cover today. I hope that you found this interesting. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave those in the comment section down below. And I really want to see you in the next video.